everyone. Welcome to Chakra Sessions. I'm your host, Polly Jo Labbe, and I'm here with you broadcasting live through YouTube, through Be Live TV. So welcome, everyone. This is our show about all things energy and how to bring balance into our everyday lives. Because there's a lot going on for most of us, and when stressors come in, most of the time our energy gets a little out of whack. And we know that instinctively because we might feel a little tired, we might feel stressed, we may feel overwhelmed, and we might get headachy or a sore back. And all of those are indications that something might be a little out. And so here at Chakra Sessions, we talk about what those things might be in our energy field and how to gently begin to restore balance. So, hi, Carol. Nice to have you. Welcome to the show. So today is about our foundation. And I know that may seem very simplistic, but if we don't have a solid foundation, our whole house, our energetic body starts to come tumbling a little bit down. The root chakra really is how we root ourselves here in our physical life. And that shows up in a whole bunch of different ways. And we had a very tumultuous year last year with the pandemic sort of throwing everybody's daily routines into chaos. So we're at a point where we're starting to come out of all the chaotic energy, and it's time for us to take root again. And it may not look anything like it did a year ago because we've had to grow and change and adapt. So it's a really great time for us to really check and see how our foundation is doing. And it allows us to put some dreams and ideas and beliefs that we want to create into reality. So that's so cool. Hi, Taylor. Welcome. Nice to see you here. Love your photo there, your profile. That's really pretty. So yeah, this strengthening your foundation. For me, I threw a lot of things out of whack in my life last year. Most people had, the pandemic to deal with and all the chaos that created at home and with work. I decided to move twice and move my business and shift the formatting of my school. And we downsized considerably from 4,000 square feet down to about 1,000. So lots of chaos. And I know Julie Shumway Hill, who's here with me now, she did some of that too in this past year. So I'm sure, hi, Julie. This will be right up your alley. So as we're creating a stronger foundation, it's like you put up with a lot of shift. I did. My spiritual team had been nudging me that it was coming. And like a good trooper, I was, I kept putting things off, like procrastinating. I'll do it tomorrow. And then all of a sudden my team was like, you need to move now. And I had a couple years, to be truthful. Anybody who knew me knew I was going to end up where I am in Maine. And I had a lot of friends who are very psychic and sensitive who already saw me living in Maine before I was there. They're like, what do you mean you live in Massachusetts? You live on the coast of Maine. I'm like, I'm heading there, but I'm not there yet. And they're like, well, your spirit is. So my spirit had already taken root here. It was just the rest of my body and my family that had to readjust and resettle. And with the pandemic and my husband being a massage therapist, his world went upside down really quickly. So our plan, how we all have our plans, they got adjusted. And I'm not sure that things would have unfolded as neatly if things hadn't just been tossed up in the air for everyone. Because it felt, I don't know about you, but it felt like had a lot of kinship with other people, that they had to adjust to working from home or having their children 24/7 and working. Or I know Julie moved as well, and putting your house on the market and moving and pandemic and lots of craziness. Um, and, with anything major in our life that goes through upheaval, once we've gone through the major upheaval, it's time to kind of clean up. I see it energetically as the Tower card. So for those of you who know the tarot, um, the Tower card it looks like a lightning bolt that's cracking the top of the tower, and the people are actually falling out. And when that happens, the really cool thing that happens when the Tower card explodes, um, it really allows us the opportunity to start again, in a brand new way. And usually it means that we've been living life a little bit too small, that the divine has bigger plans for us. It's time to kind of spread our wings. We've been trying to fit into somebody else's um, description of us, the box they've put us in, and we've done our best. But as most of you know, that doesn't last very long, and we start to get a little claustrophobic and we're ready for change. Well, we got change on overload last year, and now the dust is starting to settle, and it's this time where we get to create a brand new foundation for ourselves. And in that new foundation, it's choosing what things about our life we love and keeping those. Those things about our life that we absolutely need, keeping those. And then those things that maybe we're not so happy with, and the things that we absolutely can't stand, finding ways to get those out as rapidly as we can. And but when we're proactive about creating our own change, then we don't get as much disturbance in the upheaval times. But if we put it off and put it off, well, the divine is definitely going to step in and make sure change happens. Hi, Bree. Nice to have you. Great to have you in the house. And so here we are after a bunch of change, and it's time to lay those building blocks. And if you have done upheaval just in your personal life, well, then those are the building blocks you start with. If you moved your family, or your family has taken on a new dynamic, because a lot of family dynamics changed during the pandemic, then that's where you're going to lay your foundations. And if you're like me, I'm setting foundational stones in every corner, in every aspect of my life. And to do that, we're going to do the masterful thing that so many spiritual teachers talk about, which is being grounded. And in that root chakra, it wants to be connected to the earth. It wants to feel planted. We know that when we're in a lot of limbo, how unsettling that can feel. And so finding ways to feel centered and grounded, even when things are still maybe a little percolating, you set those cornerstones of, no matter what, I'm going to keep this in my life. So for me, in my personal life, one of the things that was really important was that I needed a space outdoors that I could go and connect to my team. And I didn't care if it was a deck or a porch, but I just needed somewhere where I could sit in the sunshine or I could have my cup of coffee, even in the winter, and just feel my connection to nature and things around me. And that is something that I got right away. And one of the first things that was done when we got here was to put chairs on my porch. Because I wanted to feel like I could sit outside if I needed to. Because even sometimes in the winter, that just that rush of cold air can feel really comforting if you have a warm drink and a blanket, and you can just feel your connection. And that was really important to me. My kitties with me, having a designated workspace. And that is something that I didn't realize was at such a premium during the pandemic. The amount of people who had to work in their dining room or their kitchen or the side of their bedroom because they didn't have a dedicated workspace. And I know for many people that had to work from home that I worked with as clients, it was really crucial that they carved out that separation between work and home. So with people that I worked with, sometimes it was like, okay, this is the chair that I work in. And I'm not going to eat in that chair. Like when it's time for me to have lunch or take a break at work, I'm going to sit somewhere else. Just so you had that foundation of, this is my rootedness in my home, and this is my rootedness in my work. And strengthening our foundation so that we feel steady is when we have those boundaries set. And one of the things for me, I had an open doorway between my work office and our living room. And it wasn't working for me. And I'm like, I don't care if it's just a curtain, but I need something. And that is what we did. We got a curtain rod and we got a curtain that at least when it was closed, I was working. And when it was open, I wasn't. It was just a signal for me, for my spiritual team, and for my family to know, like, okay, she's working. And that was very key to me being able to stay grounded in my spiritual work that I was doing with my clients, because they were very in a lot of chaotic energy. And to show up as a healer, you really have to release all of your own stuff in the moment and just be fully divinely present for someone else. And we can't do that when we're feeling chaotic. Last week, I was supposed to do this class last week. This chakra session was supposed to happen last week. And I had one of those weeks where everything got thrown into the air. And Rob was having a little bit of trouble with his computer, and I just saw all of it as divine timing. I'm like, I'm not in a space right now to be grounded and centered and be an open channel for the divine. I was just really processing some of my own stuff that was coming up from the teaching I was doing, from the healing work I was doing, for more changes that were coming in my direction, that were unexpected, and also some pain because I had stuck energy that has been trying to move, and just really getting at the root of that. And sometimes in strengthening our foundation, one of the best things we can do is say no to something that we might have said yes to, when it's not in alignment and not going to work. Making things happen is our will and our ego. Our ego tries to make things happen, and we all know it's like pushing a rock uphill. But when we're centered and grounded in divine flow, things happen easily and magically, even when there's chaos all around us. So part of strengthening your foundation is seeing what you really, really need to feel comfortable, to feel safe and secure in your home and your work environments. So um, many people, the safety is, living somewhere where you feel comfortable. You can go outside, you don't feel threatened. Because if you don't completely feel safe, then it'll be hard for you to relax and connect to your spiritual team and feel grounded. um, we first moved here to Maine, we were renting a house. Um, and it was beautiful, and it was downtown, and it was nice and easy. Um, and we had nobody living upstairs initially. And then after we'd been there for a couple of months, somebody moved in upstairs. Lovely couple, with their dog. But to do my spiritual work and have people walking over my head and having a dog bark once in a while, was ungrounding for me. So it was really hard for me to continue to work from home. Um, which was fine because it actually really propelled me to find a space to work in, which was not easy during the pandemic to get somebody to show you a space to work out of, because a lot of things were shut down. But Lisa, hi Lisa, glad you're here. Um, Rob says a little bit of trouble with my computer is is the understatement of the year. Yes. It it's funny because yes, yeah, a lot of the machines, were in Mercury retrograde. We weren't in it on Thursday, but I think energetically my spirit might have been there, because I was doing actually I was doing a lot of past life clearing, karmic clearing and generational clearing, for myself and my clients, and it just was a lot of expansive energy moving rapidly. And that just happens sometimes. But we need to have a place where we feel connected. Um, and sometimes that's just like, you know, you got your special chair to sit in. And it's your chair, you know. And I think back to like when going to my grandparents' house. My grandmother had a chair, my grandfather had a chair, and nobody sat in their chair. Um, and that was an odd thing when I was a child, but now as an adult, it's like, yeah, that was their sacred space. It was like, I share everything with everyone but this chair. And that's where they could kick their feet up and relax and let their day go. My grandmother had a recliner because that was important to her. She really wanted to kick her feet up. And my grandfather, his chair was much more, I don't know, it was comfy. It had bigger arms. I don't know. It always reminded me, as a little girl, like, kind of a kingly throne, except it was definitely more squishy than that. But it was a place where if I got to sit on his lap, I felt safe in that chair. So I'm sure you all have some sort of memory of that, where there's just certain places where you just felt really comfortable and really secure. And that's what we want for our foundation. Our root chakra wants stability. And when things are in lots of movement and lots of transition, that poor root chakra can have a hard time getting grounded, and adapting to all the change. I'm sure many of you had, some resistance to change, or if you didn't, you had people around you who had a hard time with it. Um, the What do you mean I can't go to the grocery store whenever I want? You know, what do you mean my bridge game isn't going to happen? That was my mom. She didn't know what to do with herself. She played bridge 4 times a week and all of a sudden it stopped. They eventually went online, but it was like it impacted the rhythm of her life, and her partner was used to her being out. So he wasn't too fond of her being home all the time either. So I'm sure we all had our own version of that. But as we are settling, things are calming down into a new rhythm for now. And it might only be for now. It might just be for the next few months. But learning how to create a sense of stability for yourself is crucial. We often worry about creating it for everyone around us. But the reality is when we create it for ourselves, then everyone around us feels it and they genuinely can start to feel safe as well. I know that with my grandparents, I just felt safe at their house, that, they had their own rhythm. My grandmother was diabetic, so food happened on a very regular schedule. And even things like grocery shopping was done on a particular day, and it had a rhythm. And because they had that built-in rhythm, there was nothing for me to worry about or think about or be anxious about. So I could just go and relax. And even my grandparents were relaxed because they knew what to expect. And that creates a strong foundation for us. Now, energetically, if our foundation is wobbly, we start to have difficulty focusing. We have difficulty maybe spinning thoughts in our head. And many times we might have either constipation or diarrhea, fun combo, because we're irregular. And in terms of our actual physical body, it starts to impact our feet, our knees, our legs, our hips, our bones, our teeth, our skin, and our hair. That's a lot. And so there are a lot of people I know who had things happen with their teeth, like they maybe cracked a tooth, or after the pandemic, they needed to have teeth pulled. I know a whole bunch of people that happened to. And people who had bone spurs, or, their arthritis was happening, or because we weren't moving as much, the joints got a little sticky. So those are all things that are an indication that root chakra is having a hard time. When we start to have physical symptoms, then it's been a little out of whack for a little while. And I know that mine is still working on it because I'm having difficulty with my elbow. Now, the elbow itself, yes, it's a little bit of root chakra, but it's also about how grounded your communication is. And isn't it interesting that last week when I was supposed to it didn't happen because I wasn't grounded in my communication. So I couldn't be there for that space. So is it any surprise to me that my elbow started flaring up and giving me a hard time? No. And as I'm working on the whys behind it, the different parts of my life where, I haven't been grounded in some communication, then it's like, oh, there you go. And it might be something simple like, I thought an email was sent and taken care of, and it wasn't. They needed a response from me, and vice versa. That's ungrounded communication, right? And we've all had some of that too, I'm sure. Um, and as we're working on recreating that sense of stability and security, for some people, it's about where you're living. Some people, it's about your finances. Jobs were really wonky. A lot of people weren't sure what was going to happen and how they were going to have enough money to take care of themselves. And there's still people who are working their way out of that energy. My husband couldn't work for a year basically. And that might have caused turmoil at a different time, but we had enough other things that needed tending to. And I was very clear with my team. They wanted me to be here. So take care of us, take care of our finances so I don't have to worry about it. And wild thing was, after when we did our taxes, I made more money in the pandemic than I had the year before. So I worked, even though it was a chaotic year. I really needed to be present as a healer for a lot of people, which is part of my mission, which felt really good. And it felt really grounding that I was doing my work, I was doing my calling, and that the rest could be taken care of. And my husband not working actually was like a beautiful blessing, because it meant he was taking care of getting our house set up for us, and making sure basic things like, getting the cars registered, and getting us appointments to get our licenses, and registering to vote and things like that. He took care of the grounded, practical things that maybe would have been more difficult if we'd both been trying to work through all the chaos. Hi, Ellen. Yes, it's Thursday. And I even have a surprise I'm going to tell you about in a couple minutes. So, love that picture of you. That's a great picture. So, you know, the way that I know that as a society we're having interesting root chakra things going on is just take a look at the real estate market. Ellen's a great person for that. Houses are selling like hotcakes, and the prices are way beyond what they had been, because guess what? We all got stuck at home and realized all the ways we were settling. We were making do. And in that making do energy, we went, no, I need a workspace, or my kids need a play space, because we're crawling all over each other. Or there are other people who are like, this is too much house for us to take care of without other people to take care of it for us, or too much yard, or and it's time for us to downsize because this is ridiculous. We're paying all this money, and we're not even using half the space. Like, people had either side of those equations. And it's not really surprising, because as a country, as a planet, we were all thrown into upheaval. And so it's like, if I'm going to be in all this upheaval, I might as well live where I want to, work where I want to, and do what I love. My husband and I moved, which sort of set dominoes going for my entire family. So my youngest son and his partner, they moved to California, which they had been wanting for years. And my oldest son is about to embark on his adventure. And he got a job in the Dallas area. And he's very excited because he really loves being in that kind of cultural city. And so he's about to uproot and create a new foundation as well. And it just seems natural right now. So think about the things maybe that have been a little unsettled for you. So, like, I know with Julie, because she did a move too, Are all your bags unpacked? You know, are all your boxes unpacked and put away? I've still got a few, um, and I know they're the non-essential things, but there's something energetic about everything in your house having a home, having a place, having your books be on a particular bookshelf, or whenever there's clutter, that's always a sign for me that things are getting a little wobbly in my root chakra, because it's harder to stay grounded when we have chaos around us. So, look and see how your closet looks, the drawers, in, I always look at my sock drawer, my underwear drawer, like, how do those look? And how's my closet? Are things hung up and everything put away? And does everything have a place in my kitchen? Or, have I started collecting things on my countertop again? Um, and it happens from time to time. And it's not a judgment thing, it's just an aware thing for me. Normally, if I start to notice it, in, like, my kitchen is one of the places where we can collect stuff, especially like mail that we haven't gotten through, or sorted, or we have to wash our recyclables and take the labels off and stuff. So sometimes we have a stack of those that need to be put away. So Julie says, still have boxes to unpack too. I know, right? We've always got 100 things to do, and that box can sit there. I totally get it. I have one in my bedroom that's like almost totally unpacked, but there's like this like quarter of the box where there's stuff that I'm just not sure where to put it. And I listen to my team, and my team's always like, well, if you don't, if it stays in the box, do you really need it? It's one of those things. But life takes over, and we don't always think about how that impacts our energy. But it does when things are left unfinished. Anybody who, you make a to-do list for work, it's really uncomfortable sometimes to leave something for the next day, because you've got a list just as long the next day that's going to show up. And so, it's that type of trying to get things done. But as we move forward in this new energy, this new foundational time, it's learning to take things off our list that do not really matter to us. Is this life or death? No, then do not get stressed about it. To the best of your ability. I'm still working on that one myself. But, we run on so much adrenaline and think it's normal. And I had a few days during the pandemic where I was relaxed in a way that I hadn't been relaxed really in years. And after like the second day, maybe I was going into the third day, I started to almost have a panic attack because I was too relaxed. I was too calm. I was used to going and doing and being super busy, and I was busy, but not in a way that felt frantic. And I realized how frantic felt normal. And that was not what I was going for. I want to be busy. I want to be productive. I want to help people, but I want to breathe and enjoy my life. And I'm sure you do too. And so it's like really realigning with what's important and choosing those things, and if you're somebody who loves family time, well, then it's really important that you have ways and places where you can gather with your family. And if you're still not able to gather in person, well, then, do you have the technology set up so you can gather on Zoom, or you can play games online? We play games through Discord, the Discord app, and we use the Jackbox TV to play trivia games, because we used to get together and play board games, and um, it gives us a way for us to still play board games, except we do it online. And you get to talk to each other and have fun, and it still feels like family time. So, are you having those opportunities? Because if that's important to you, um, creating space for that to happen is going to be really key to your foundation. Um, the new house that we got, like I said, we have the porch and we have a little deck, and we have a small manageable yard, but there's room for people to come and gather. We can have people over and still have space. And, you know, that is an important part. Family and community are very important to me, and I'm sure it is for many of you. So, are you creating spaces or opportunities for that? And if you're a people person and you've been like shut in isolation all this time, um, find some communities online, and make it a priority as things are opening back up to get out there. Go to your local library and see what they have going on. I'm really excited that the outdoor concerts are coming back. So two of the towns nearby are having a weekly outdoor concert in the summer. So, I'm thrilled because I can go to Wells on Saturday nights, and then I can go to Algonquin on Sundays, and go sit out on my lawn chair and listen to some great music and maybe meet some of my new community. So Julie says, I have been working on my writing and ignoring the boxes. They're all in the garage, so they're easy to ignore. Well, maybe you're really just realigning your priorities. Your writing has been a calling for you. So if you've been working on your writing, you may be realigning with what your life is about, which is really embracing your creative, and the to-do lists can kind of stay packed away. And as well as anyone else, if you need what's in those boxes, you'll go out and get them, and you'll unpack one when you need it. Initially, when we moved, I focused on one box a day, just because our space was smaller. We don't have a garage, so we have a shed, but we were paying for a storage space, and for me, it was like freeing up some of that income to get that stuff taken care of. But that was a priority for me. I know that Ellen probably would like to make a little more time for her painting, making her painting a priority, but she's may have the distractions of her garden and weeding and taking care of her horses and her work, and maybe her painting isn't taking the priority. So we all will focus on what feels important for us. But listen to your heart and make sure that your heart is feeling grounded and your heart is feeling like it's being heard. Because that's when it doesn't matter how much we do or how much we have in the bank account. If our heart's not happy, our foundation is not happy. Hi, Julie. Oh, thank you. Thank you. My hair has got its own thing going on today. But I'm enjoying my more mermaid mermaid hair is kind of what it's behaving like lately. So Julie, we're just talking about how to like shore up our foundation and really set that energy so that we can feel grounded in this new life change, the way things have been and how things are unfolding. Um, and that's how that goes. Lisa says, I ran out of things to organize, LOL. Even organized my husband's toolbox and sorted screws. Yep, maybe my OCD kicked in. No, it's funny because I noticed that organizing helps for me. And for my husband, his is about straightening and cleaning. So when he's got something on his mind, he goes to town, straightening and cleaning, and I stay the heck out of the way, because he's literally moving energy. But there's times when we're trying to create order in all of our chaos. So we do as much as we can in our physical space. So maybe now it's time to look at like what might need organizing in your emotional space. For me, there was it was easy to avoid certain things that were coming up, during the pandemic. Those feelings of like holidays are very important. So then there was that part of, not being able to see family and, that left out feeling. And that was something that I needed to work on because I wasn't being left out. We were all being left out. And we created a new way to do holidays if we're not close by. So Julie's saying I'm working on cleaning windows and new curtains, a new vision. Sometimes that's part of it too, right? Like it's been the same. I'm really known for painting the walls. Like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, the furniture has to move. Oh, we got to paint the walls. Oh, I don't like that color, because for me, vibrationally, when things don't match, they just don't match energetically anymore. And they could have been right 6 months ago, but now they don't match me. And you guys see it every time I do my hair. It's like, oh, I'm in a new shade, a new color. And a new expression, right? A new expression of who you are. And that's just part of really getting solid with each day, learning who am I today and what's unfolding. And we can go through lots and lots of change, but we don't have to feel knocked off our feet about it. We can feel like, okay, that's today's change. Oh, that's today's change, and it doesn't have to turn into the sky is falling, a Chicken Little moment, as I often think. During the pandemic, I had a lot of clients who were in that energy. And even I was at times where, it was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? How are we going to do this? What's going to, and we just got off on all sorts of things. But there's this huge gift about navigating change and learning how to be like, oh, that's what changed today. Oh, the gas prices went crazy because of this thing that happened. Okay, well, that's what it is today. My world's not ending. I don't have to freak out. It's just like, okay, that's what's changing today. And we can get more comfortable and more stable in our root, that change does not have to upend us. And I think that's been a huge lesson. So we're about to do a grounding and a clearing meditation to really rebuild that root chakra. But first, I want to tell you this really cool surprise. This Sunday, at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be bringing back Soul Connections. So Soul Connections is a show where I do a healing meditation in the beginning, really helping you to connect to your higher self and your spirit. And then afterwards, I pull cards for anybody who would like a reading. We are going to change the format a little bit. We're only going to do soul connections once a month, because it can be a little bit exhausting um, for me and for my co-pilots. I know, Rob, you have to be up before 10 a.m. 9:30. You're not on the camera, so if you're in jammies with your coffee, it's okay. But we're gonna do 10 o'clock. And we're gonna do it once a month. I'm not sure if it will always fall on the first Sunday of the month. I know it won't in July, because that'll be 4th of July, and that just doesn't make sense to me, because I want to be with family. I want you to be with family. But that's the rhythm. Will be on once a month on Sundays. We'll do it at 10 a.m., kind of reconnecting to our spirit, our soul, and really calling that in. I don't know. For me, it feels like my spiritual temple work. And right now, because the way things have been with COVID, you guys are my community. Not that you aren't all the time, but I'm not really seeing a community in person at the moment. So I have been missing that time and that connection. But during the pandemic, it was a lot, because so many people were worried about their future, that doing readings was very draining energetically. So I'll be back. So tell your friends that we'll be here this Sunday for that, and hope to see you live. If you want a reading, come live. But, if you've got stuff going on, feel free to watch us in the replay, because that healing that we do at the beginning is very centering, very grounding, and helps you release anything that's not going the way you want it to in your life. So I'm very excited. Looks like a few of you are too. So yay! Ellen says, yay! And Rob's happy that he can be in his jammies, and Julie is saying yay as well. So let's get this root chakra stabilized, grounded, and centered, so that you can maybe feel some inner momentum to get some other stuff moving while you feel less chaotic. All right, so let's start by taking a couple of deep breaths. Just really breathe in deeply. And blow out. And we're going to welcome in the divine energy. The masculine and the feminine divine. The universe and all that is. And also invite in our higher self, our sacred self, to connect deep within us, grounding the divine wisdom into our heart, and allowing that calming, peaceful energy to radiate out through our whole energy body. I'm asking the divine energy to surround and protect us in a bubble of infinite love and infinite light. Welcoming in our spiritual teams to connect to us and through us, guide us through this healing for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves. We're going to ask unlock that beautiful heart with all that calm energy from the divine to help us create a strong cord of connection through each of our chakras, calming, centering, balancing them. And allowing the energy to flow down each of our legs and both of our arms. And asking each of our chakras to create a cord of connection to the earth. Not simply with the top soil, but all the way through all the layers, giving us 7 grounding cords from our crown, our third eye, our throat, our heart, our solar plexus, our sacral, and our root. These rainbow cords steadying us and anchoring us to the earth in each vibration, frequency, sound, and color that we can imagine. And asking the divine energy to gently fill us through our crown, restoring our energy, our life force, our courage, and our determination, our self-esteem, our creativity, our joy, and our love. Our safety and our security. And as we feel the energy restoring and refilling, welcoming that energy as it moves out through our aura, restoring and repairing our personal bubble in all of its layers. Rebooting our immune system, strengthening our boundaries, and now gently allowing any energy that is not yours or that no longer serves your highest benefit to gently wash off of you. And having a moment of gratitude for the lessons you learned from carrying the energy, but releasing the need, restoring yourself in your authenticity, in the fullness of your being. And now focusing on your root chakra and feeling it strengthen, the energy brighten, clearing all the ways it sends love and support throughout your body, through your emotions and your mental thoughts. And allowing that root chakra to connect to the root of your higher self. And imagining the two roots intertwining, giving you a stronger, fuller anchor in each and every dimension, vibration, and frequency you connect to, and that connects through you. And now gently asking the divine to break apart any places in your body where you may have discomfort. So if you've been having trouble behind your eyes, in your neck or your shoulders, your back or your stomach, your hips or your feet, just allowing gentle moment of release of any pain or discomfort or dis-ease. And simply remembering that in this moment, you are safe, secure, grounded, centered in the divine. And anytime you need to reconnect to this energy, it is here waiting. Now, gently just take a deep breath and blow out. Allowing any excess energy to release. And with each breath, just become more and more present with your physical body, with the room you're in, the clothes you're wearing, the sounds going on around you, maybe some smells that are going on. And just welcome back into the moment. Nice. So, if you've been having difficulty with your root chakra, um, and have had trouble focusing or staying grounded, remember that um, this type of meditation can help whenever you have a moment. That's why they're recorded. So they're there as a resource for you to use whenever you need. Um, And then you're welcome to go to my site, trinitymysticalenergy.com. And there are crystals there for grounding. And there are oils. There's a grounding blend, one of my favorites. But there's also one that's specific just for your root chakra, especially if you've had a lot of upheaval. Sometimes using the oil reminds your energetic body what you want it to do, which is to come back into balance. It doesn't do it for you. It retrains your energy body. And, when we go through times of upheaval, it's great to use tools and support in however that works for us. And, if you get a chance to go outside and be in nature, go for it. That's a great way to get you right back in this present moment. But, if you're having difficulty, reach out. And know that Chakra Sessions is always here for you. So thanks for being here with me this evening. I hope to see some of you on Sunday. So we'll be meeting together on Sunday at 10 a.m. I know it's early, Rob, but 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will be broadcasting live from our YouTube channel, Trinity Mystical Energy. And if you haven't got a chance, subscribe, because that way you'll get notifications that we're going live and when we have classes available. Subscribing on YouTube is the same as liking on Facebook. So don't worry about it's not like a magazine subscription. It's just letting you be connected to us when you need it. And with that, guys, thank you for helping me with my spiritual mission, which is to heal the healers, because we need as many people out there helping and part of their life purpose to help heal the planet. We've all got a job to do, and it's wonderful. We can step in and help each other. So thank you for being part of my healing community, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh, by the way, no chakra sessions for the next 2 weeks because Rob and I both have vacations coming up. So we'll see you soon. Bye, guys. Mwah.